meetings and all that, and poor work studies. Hey, my boss would say the same thing about me today. There's no hope. I think we can do it. I think it's pretty good. I've done a great job. So anyway, Dad was born in 1921, October something or other. See, that's I know he died on 9/11. I mean, so you can always remember that he died on 9/11. I got to see him a couple times this summer. I think all of us got to see him. Paul took a lot of time working with him. His first stroke was last fall sometime. Shortly after he went to go visit one of the reunions, he was in Salt Lake City, back in Kansas City. He had a stroke, things kind of went downhill. He had some improvements around Christmas time, and there were probably several little things, and finally in about May or June, we found a place for him to stay, because it was getting pretty difficult to get him to get on his own. All that, and it was a beautiful place for him to stay. They only spent maybe 2/3 the time there, because one issue or another came up. You had to go to the hospital, and if you come out of the hospital, you got to go to Rossmore for recovery or some other nomenclature for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden you're ready to go back and Paul does all this stuff, So, Dad was one of 3 kids that long-term survived. There was a number of other ones that died when they were young babies or within weeks or months of the same day. Had 2 sisters, Catherine and Marie. All that, and they were kind of raised mostly over. Is that right? You do ignore that, So, just a couple things. Bottom, I heard mentioned, I never paid attention, but he was a serious Finn. The kind of a stern look. You never saw him laugh out loud. He'd chuckle and all that kind of stuff. I never really laughed out loud. And, I never really thought about that. But, he had a sense of humor and all that, but he was always kind of neutral faced, I guess. There's something that comes to mind about him. This is really typical of him. Several things like this have happened. Is that I remember one morning, us 3 boys, we had one big room. We all lived in this room, and we would, on Saturday morning, we were sleeping in, we would just start, laughing and, just making a big noise and all that. And Dad had worked on a construction site in which he got some wire recorders. Which is what they had before tape recorders. They had these wire recorders. He had these wire recorders. Now, we used to get shocked, because it's one of them was bad. But it was like a tape recorder, so it was a wire recorder. And we were in there and just praising him. And all of a sudden, Dad comes marching down the hallway, boom, 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 boom. I don't know what we were doing exactly wrong, but he walks in, okay, what the hell's going on here? You guys gotta knock this stuff off and all that. I mean, he's serious. I mean, he's mad, and he didn't get mad at all. And, we're just like, this. And he reaches down to the wire recorder, turns it on, and then you hear somebody's voice saying, this is Paul's favorite sound. And then there's a fart. He was like, he got the heck out of there as fast as he could, because he just saw the smile. The whole facade break it down in milliseconds. He just talked about the funniest thing he'd ever heard. And he had to laugh down the hall, shut the door, and talked a lot about this. So, anyway, there were a couple of little things that we did. I remember we had boys' night out. Mom would go to her bridge club meeting somewhere across town or some lady's place, and it was boys' night out, and we were going to have hamburgers. And we did it right. We had the nice buns and the cheese and the big burgers and everything. All the condiments. It was all laid out on the table and all that. And we were outside in the back patio, and I don't know if we actually had it all laid out up there, but here we were sitting around, my 2 brothers and myself and my dad sitting around the table, building this beautiful burger, stacking it all up with everything, the pickle and mayonnaise and the relish and tomato, just beautiful burgers and all that kind of stuff. And Dad would really Did he actually put it together?
I think what happened was, I think he had a nap. Yeah, we cooked the dinner, and he had a nap. So he didn't even take it, he was a little sleepy.
He was a little sleepy when everybody sat there and bit into that burger and completely forgot what was needed. Just completely, where's meat, man? What are you doing? He just walks out of it like that.
And we always like,
anyway, from my point of view, my dad was, outdoorsman. That's what we did. Hey, did a lot of fishing. I remember when I was early, 10 years old, something like that, I used to get out early in the dark this morning, walking up to a lake called Dog Lake. It was like a mile or something like that up to this Dog Lake, and I marched up there, and I got up there, and even though the sun was still on the mountain, and the sun was shining, I was just cold. Everything was cold. My fingers were cold. I was shivering to death and all that as we got up there to go trout fishing. I mean, you try to get them back. I was real miserable. And then we'd also get up in the morning when I got older and got a little more proficient. We'd hike up 2 miles. In the morning, and then fish our way back to camp. Take us all day. We'd get back till noon, 1 o'clock. We'd catch dozens and dozens of fish and all that. I always knew my dad was because he had the habitual 300 reel. I was actually bringing the reel to show you that every time you close the bill, it's a click. I could, when it's calmer and all that, I could hear, hundreds of feet around the bend, and he would work the river down on opposite sides, and just catching fish after fish, and I always heard the click. And I knew where he was. That's right around the corner. We was that a competition too. If I got behind my dad, and I could catch a fish where he had already gone. I mean, that was something because he was very good at what he did. So I spent a lot of my life trying to be good. I mean, we came to skiing. He taught us how to ski after. He was part of the ski club down here, got the lodge going and all that, and all I did was try to be really good. He taught me really good about fishing, really good about skiing. I didn't ski. My wife and I skied everywhere, all around the West and all that kind of stuff. And we worked it as a serious thing. It was a commitment, not necessarily just a pure recreation. We were very good at it. And then we take in. One thing about my dad, sometimes he wasn't one to initiate stuff, but if I wanted to go fishing, or I wanted to go skiing, if I did the research, checked the weather, checked the roads, got a ski report, packed the car, we get a chalkboard at home and I put the hints there every week. Weather's supposed to be good this weekend, all that kind of stuff. That's all we needed was that, let's go. I mean, he wouldn't necessarily do it on his own initiative. Every once in a while, just push him. He would say, yeah, let's go. He was a soft touch. And he really want to go skiing this weekend, let's go fishing. And he'd hey, look, I came with the boat, it's ready to go. And all you need to do is hitch it up, all this stuff's ready. It was good. So he took him, he did all this stuff for me. I spent the last year trying to make up. Did I take fishing? I got really good at stuff. Getting really proficient. I went and bought, $40,000 jet sled so I could take him up the river or something in the Northwest, and take him out in the ocean, and do this stuff like that, and show him just how good it was. It's really fantastic stuff. Eric seen some of that. Probably more than he wants to see. He probably seen more on the internet than he wants to see. But I really came back. Take him to do things really more than that. I didn't have to message. That's just my message. What's your dad's message? I have a very good story.
Stories about fishing with Dad. I was small, probably 8, 9, 10 years old. I was Saturday morning, he's waking me up to go fishing. We get up, and I wanted to go, but I hated getting up in the morning in a pitch black. And we launched before you built that boat, so it's before 66. We'd be out in that bay, and I took a 12-foot aluminum boat. It was scared to death out of me. But Clarence talks about his facial expression. He'd sit in the back of that boat, concentrate on where the boat was going, and had a scowl on his face. And it was just thought he was mad at me. I spent the first 10 years of my life thinking my dad was mad at me all the time. He always had that Finnish scowl. Until I saw that, I saw a thing about 60 minutes and I talked about Finnish people, the brooding people. So all you Finns know, when you're not concentrating on smiling, there's always that look on your face. I just thought my dad was mad at me all the time. Until I figured it out, it was just his, that was the look. And it's funny, I'll be at work now, I'm a restaurant manager, so I'm supposed to be Mr. And I was like, Tom, smile! I go, I'm finished. I'm not thinking about smiling, I'm just doing my, doing my deal, doing what I do. I think it's something that's passed down in the family. I think we all do. I see Paul does it all the time. Carol's got it. Not so much Nancy. Especially after a vodka. Yeah, did you get the scowl and everything? Did you smile? It's just, and you go, you see somebody street, and all of a sudden you go to their last name, you Finn, you look at them going, oh yeah. But I just, like I say, I was just working with my dad, just scowling look. But,
well, it was, I was like born with a true tiller in my hand, that little boat there, and we'd be fishing and all that, and you'd always, of course, if you want to get over there, we always go like that, make a sharp turn. Yeah. And, come on, make a big sweeping turn, come on, sweeping turn, all that, because the lines would get fouled up if you made, too sure.
Especially when you're a little kid, you're driving the boat, you want to drive the boat, but when you're trolling, you just want to be
So it was a few years back, about 10 years ago and all that, I think just you and I were fishing or whatever, and somewhere or whatever, and we were making one of those turns, and we can now call Ed's School of Big Sweeping Turns.
I've been out with Glenn, he's had to fish on and I had to drive his boat. Sweeping, Tom, no sweeping turn.
So another thing that Dad looked on his life, because when we moved to Portland 20 years ago, we finally got our first dog and dogs and other dogs and all that. We got him one, and which he called Solly, which was Finnish for something. That's how he got it. And that's that big black dog about the size of a calf pup. But that was a big part of his life. I know he and Ray would go pheasant hunting. They would stumble around there for a while. The dog knew what he was doing, but I don't know about those old guys. But they got birds, and Solly got more birds than they did. She just ended up trapping them and bringing them. I guess the favorite story, and I'll probably beat this up, was they shot a pheasant and it came down way on the other side of a ditch. Muddy, deep, steep, muddy ditch and all that kind of stuff. And the dog took over, and they never saw it, for a while and all that. And they were minutes went by and all that. And they were down on their hands and knees, went through the grass, looking down and see where the hell she went, looking for the dog. And all of a sudden, one of the guys turns around, the dog standing alongside him, and wondering what you guys doing. Solly died of cancer. 8 years, 10 years old.
That's about 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago, whatever like that. It wasn't a good thing. Well, that dog was, labs and labs, and they were dogs. Convenience.
Then she was standing up on the top of the bird in the mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She saw I had a bird already there. But you guys look at it.
Those stories, huh, right? I remember.
So we would drag Dad on these adventures, He was never a hunter, mostly a fisherman and all that. And then Tom and I started dabbling in this and that. It was one time when we were at Gray Lodge Refuge, and we dragged. It was my first time at Gray Lodge Refuge. We had a permit to get there in the morning, and the hunting was really been pretty slow. It just was pretty dead. And we got in there and we got checked in, and we parked in a parking lot, and we just started marching out. We had backpacks at that time and stuff, so we some decoys. And we just marched out there for a while till we found a spot. We threw out some decoys, and about first thing in the morning, here goes this signal duck, and it comes around and comes and sets its wings way out there. I mean, it's committed to way out there. It's set. Tom and I are just waiting. Well, this duck is 90 yards out there. You know, shotgun range is about 35, and my dad shoots. You know, what are you doing? It was a long time. It was quite a while before he actually pulled the trigger. He waited the rest of the verse after that. We got out of his face about that. And during the day, we ended up with our limits, which was 21 birds for 3 of us, 7 apiece. And we go to the checkout station, and we lay all the birds out on the tailgate of the truck, and the fishing wildlife guy comes out and counts all the birds, and he says, you know, there's 21 birds here. And he's get the twilight zone immediately starts to play. What did we do wrong? It's literally a 6 piece or 5 piece or whatever. And it turns out it was a horrible rain day. I think only like 36 birds were shot in the entire refuge. And we got all 21. And he was always amazed that Tom and I would just try to take that and march out in the middle of the marsh, just throw some decoys in the water, and have that kind of success. But that doesn't always happen that way. But that was one day. So yeah, we tried doing a lot of things. All he needed was to be asked, or push him along, and he would involved in these adventures, and we were really accommodated. Anyway, that kind of just sums up my perspective. Ed was a lot of things to, my cousin's different than he was me, but, he was my dad. He was always there. And took it for granted. That's what it was. And just, there's some stuff that interests me, some stuff that on me. Anything else?
All smile. Your notes. Where's my notes?
No notes at all.
No.
Do you have anything to say about Paul's favorite sound?
No. Quiet. Well, a lot of my view right now is that the last couple of years, really had a chance to hang out with them. I didn't know this much. So, one thing I can credit, at least my dad, a lot is their ability to be independent about how to resolve issues and problems in terms of fixing things. Hands-on type of person. Being able to say, okay, I'm just trying to fix this apart and figure things out. And I know that in my job today, it's really hard to do that expertise in that area. Definitely do that. But little fine story is interesting. I always look at his military career here, and I was kind of proud of they awarded the flag and all that this star. And I've asked him a lot of stories of his Navy past when he did. And one thing he always talked about is he and a buddy was able to deliver food to the officers. And apparently it's a cushy job, and it seemed like that over his career in the Navy, he really got away with cushy positions in the Navy. And, especially if he's serving meals to the officers, and they get all the leftover sandwiches and all that, where the rest of the people in the ship would be eating a slot after lunch. So that was kind of amazing to hear about that. He spent an awful lot of time up in Rockland. He has a lot of fun memories up there. He was up there part-time between Oakland and Rockland. He spent much of the time swimming with quarries up there. Watching the trains go by as they try to the Sierras, smoking up the house. Things like that. But anyway, the didn't fish or hunt, but we managed to talk about geology, geography, and things like that, maps, where things are located, these guys, those are common interests. But it is.
Those maps were a big thing. I mean, back when we were, I was thinking right with the light behind me that day. Anyway, but here our maps were free, and we always went on every vacation. It was in Europe or Yellowstone or whatever like that. Rarely did our parents ever go anywhere on their own, maybe when we got older in high school, stuff like that. But it was always family vacations. And we would all have our own free map in the back of the station wagon, and it was just it became a very competitive thing. In other words, if there was some kind of a city or feature, or it might be a mountain, it would be anything. They'd be talking in the back seat, all that between the boys and all that kind of stuff, and then they'd say they get real quiet in the car, and we all want to be the first to yell out and scream out. The Polydome in Yosemite, and you have another example.
Yeah, and he brings this up all the time. He says that when we were all in the back of the car, we're sitting there talking, whatever kids are doing in practice station, and it says all of a sudden it was going quiet. We're going down I-5 near Anaheim. So he said all of a sudden I'm quiet, and he started this laugh. He says, I'm sitting there waiting. I know one of them's going to scream out, "The Matterhorn!" But we were always sitting there looking at our maps trying to figure out who is going to see the first thing first. It's Cathedral Peak, Polydome, the Matterhorn, some sort of place.
So maps became second nature to us, and being anywhere in the world became second nature. In the forest or woods or whatever like that, we always had I made, although one of you guys bought the other a GPS, but still had to look at it. We never, all these other guys need GPS when they go out in the forest. There's nothing we can consider because our brain's always updating where the sun is right now and where the mountain is and where the bay is. I mean, it's just that we're always talking to all these things around us. Just naturally. In Yosemite, when we got a little older, we got the topographical maps that buy the maps at the ranger station or whatever. We get them out and taught us how to read it. We started to hike, and hiking did the Yosemite Trail, 186 miles. So, it was never a problem. So, maps and that kind of thing was just something that he taught us. He and I took a Coast Guard class, a U.S. Coast Guard class. We learned how to read the lights and the navigational aids on the river and all that, which is nowadays, if you want to drive a boat in the morning or in horsepower, you have to take a test. In Washington, now it's mandatory that you already know this stuff. All they've done is change some of the words a little bit, but it's all stuff that I've known for years. And so we can drive along a body of water at nighttime and see flashing lights and understand what it all means and what the channel is just by looking out the water.
Yeah, Tom, Red Rider Journey.
That's right.
We'll get what I pick that up.
So I guess we didn't really talk about his carpentry skills, after the war. He got in with a small construction company where he learned to do everything. And we led to building both the houses that we lived in during our lives, the first short stint at Grandpa's in Oakland. And with one in Overhill and down the second one in Davis Road. And he did most of the stuff ourselves. And my wife will attest, I've spent a good part of the summer working on the yard. I poured concrete, myself and built raised garden beds, put it in rock. I've done some masonry work, which is something that, these things you have. I'm sure I had a book of money and the other guys building brick wall. Those are all skills that we do. And we're doing yourself.
It might be good furniture, but it's furniture.
We rarely hire anybody to really work on the house because, Dad found out that we actually had any kind of plumbing. So nothing's ever perfect and all that, but one of the scary things was when Dad would come by once a year or whatever, and the big thing with Tom and I in the apartment is that we would rat on each other, like, look at there's a spot, and that doesn't match us over there. So I think everything had to be even, Steven, and square with the world. And we always had to have some kind of project to show, home project to show, that we still were utilizing the skills that we were taught.
Didn't he build your house, Narinda, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
Nobody builds their home in Narinda. What do you mean?
Any other stories anybody want to contribute?
Yeah.
This is a family cheerleader. Nancy.
Yeah.
This is one thing I want to tell you. She came over last night. She never went home. Anyway, she came over last night, and I never in my life, all my years, would ever imagine to see Glenn, Paul, and Tom, Mary Jo, and Nancy all dancing to Donna Summer's. I didn't even know they could do that. I didn't know I never seen Paul.
But I think that between the cousins and all the birthday parties, there was always a party. And every month was somebody's birthday, Christmas, Halloween, Easter. And just consistently when you would go to Julie Ned's house, you'd go up the stairs, ring the doorbell, Uncle Ed would answer the door. And you'd be, oh, it's Nancy, oh, it's Carol, or whatever. Always happy, upbeat, greet you to the home, and you were invited in. It was always a warm welcome. And that is just like, that's pretty precious, I think, to have somebody open like that all the time. It was always nice. I'll tell them one bad story. I mean, Ed was like always nice, except for the time I got mad at Glenn. When they used to live in your grandparents' house in Oakland for a short time, that whole Victoria. And there were these spooky doors upstairs. It was like a pointed roof with these spooky little doors that could connect the rooms. And Glenn was chasing us with a match with a needle on it. And he called it the needle match. We called it the needle match. And we were all screaming, all the kids running in and out of these cover things from room to room, that Ed came up with a big trouble. So anyway, that was the only time I ever saw that. But don't you think it's kind of admirable when we went to Finland and he was driving around, how many? 10 people in a VW van from the top of Finland. We went to Sweden and Norway and Denmark. I mean, come on. It's all these kids to be in charge. And that was pretty admirable, I think. And didn't he do all the driving? Yes. I think he did all the driving the whole trip when we were there for 6 weeks. And I don't remember him ever getting mad at the kids in the car, or is that what he did? I know. Or maybe my memory's fuzzy, but I don't remember anything. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, back here.
I don't really remember that. But just for him to take that kind of responsibility, pretty admirable. 6 weeks, 10 people, 1 car, in a foreign country when he said he knows maps well, so I don't remember getting lost. So. I think Uncle Ed was a fabulous person, and he's definitely
He was just an easygoing guy. He never had any demands. This horrible by the presence because he didn't want anything. So he just had to come up with something. Whatever he had, he was happy with it. He coming up with Portland, he just loved coming up there and making his ribs and his salmon and stuff like that. He just we really liked his stuff, like potato salad. I just loved that stuff. It was just really easy to please. You have to do anything for it. You never asked for it. He did, you never told us.
There was new socks and slippers. Yeah, we went out there, getting some pretty fantastic meals. Talking to cook and organizing that. It was great food.
Yeah, so what was Dad like? So we did.
And you need it here.
Yeah, never mind. It was delicious, so it was not, I think.
Well, there was a lot of time you like, and the thing is, I like being like that. And so, there was a point in time when abalone was pretty cheap and you could get it down here in the restaurant. And then all of a sudden it got more expensive. So he had to stop ordering abalone when I was around because I ordered it just got to be too much money and all that. So he tried to order something I really would hate. So he tried one night, he tried steamed clams, and there were times in my life and Mom talked about how I sat there with this clam and doing it and all that, and hanging down my Jeep and all that, and he said, I liked it, my dad was got this, now he likes that too.
I remember we ordered frogs legs and bowed down. It tastes like chicken, right? It tastes like chicken. Now we don't grab anymore. I'm gonna miss having around for Christmas Eve. Hanging around the house, everything hanging out there. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, you ever notice like on the Christmas parties, stuff, there are people down there and all the adults would be in one room, dad would be hanging out with the kids. He comes to the living room, Mom and Kelly and everything else, maybe in the kitchen talking. Dad would come and sit in the living room with all the kids.
Well, we usually got it careful after having a conversation with the owners prior to a holiday, wanting to know all the dirt on what's going on in the family. And so he would share with me what's going on in his family, and I would tell him what's going on in my family.
Hear about this.
I think of Ed over the years, and I mean, down to that lovely house down in Oakland where we were hiding on the roof outside the windows until I don't know who it was that ratted on the fact that we were all like on the lid, on the edge of the roof on the second story. It was a two-story house. And we were trying to hide. It was hopeless, Or the times even in the house that there was a sliding down on cardboard down the stairs. And how many times did we, you kids should knock that off.
He wasn't much of a disciplinarian.
I think the biggest thing that I can remember was when we were in the swimming pool and we learned that if we all jump up and jump down together, we could get it where our feet are higher than the edge of the pool. And when we all went down, all the water was going all over the ground. And it was like, you kids are hurting us. Literally what everybody was doing. But I think the biggest shock in my whole life happened in this building. We were down for the Christmas party when we were kids. At the far end of the building, I had to go use the restroom. So I had to get up and walk into the hallway area, go use the bathroom, come out. Santa Claus is coming out of the bathroom. Oh. I knew it was them. I just went and took my seat and felt like I'm not going to go anywhere. I know that's
Santa Claus is
just that one time. You weren't here that year.
Santa wasn't really here.
It was only once. Sure. But he was Rudolph.
He was easy going. We all expected him. Never took advantage of the situation. I don't remember ever wanting to do anything, do something behind his back and anything like that at all. He did some dumb stuff. But he was the last person you wanted to harm.
kids having fun, and he really really good. Just open and honest conversations. Even, the last few times, Ed and Paul came over to my house. I think it was around Christmas time, one time, and then the last time, it was just because Nancy was in town, and they came over for lunch. It was nice, we just sit around and talk. I didn't have to worry about what my house looked like. Good conversation, good friends.
Me. I'm Glenn's friend in high school. We've met each other with Dave here. I guess freshman in high school, sitting in the band, first period. I had funny moves, I never really played horn right, but that's another story. But I used to, even after I moved away after college, every once in a while I'd call Ed and Julie. I'd call the house. And it was almost, you'd want to. And it was almost expected, because I don't know what it was, but Ed and Julie, they were actually really interested in what was going on with my life. They want to know what was going on. And they took a real good interest. And whenever I'd come down here, and that was gone, I would want to come to the house and say hello to them. And we'd either sit down and watch TV together or talk. They wanted everything about my life. And I still enjoy the food at their house because the best they still have, as far as I know, some change in the last year or so, the best dining room table of any place I've ever been in my whole life. I mean, it's basically like we're at a campground with the biggest wood table, with the bench on it. It's just fantastic. So it makes it really fun just to sit and eat with people. And I really enjoyed that a lot. Good story one time, I remember. We went on a duck hunting trip to Alturas with your dad, and I think, Tom, you were with us too. I remember we drove my old Ford Torino. You were there too. And we decided why we drove my Ford, I don't know. I remember, didn't we get a flat tire at Stouts north of Sacramento the first time, and we had to change it. And little did they know, a spare tire I put on had the cord showing when we wanted to talk there. We made that whole trip without getting a flat tire. We went to Alturas.
That's the trip that Dad went in, waiters and all.
Yeah, waiters and all. Yeah, I remember that.
For parking pit stops, and there goes Ed. Comes back up and he's
We
just
went all the
so
way-
went in the waiters.
Oregon, California border, and went duck hunting. And I still think we didn't get but one, probably cougar or a spoony or something came running towards us, so we all had a blast doing that. I do remember the one thing about Ed, though, he had more patience and was a lot smarter than we were when it came to fishing. I remember we all decided to park on the side of the road and get our fishing rods on the way back, and naturally, young people jumped right out of the car and jumped out of the river and tried to get the person under and start scrambling down the river. And Ed, he stayed in the car. David, he'd just wait till we ruined the river, and then he'd wait for it to calm down after we destroyed everything. So he lets us fish for half an hour, and we're probably a mile away by then. Then he takes out his fishing gear and puts it together, and he says, "Well, now that the fish are back to normal, I'll just catch all the fish." So he would just go down and catch all the fish, and we'd be coming back sweaty and hot and get all beat up. And how many fish he gets? None, because we're all competing against each other. And he said, "Yeah, I caught and released probably about 15 fish, but you guys are having fun. I just went to the pools you guys left and let them relax." And it kind of made me realize that it's not how fast you fish the river, it's how thoroughly you do, and whether you really study the river a lot. So it was a good lesson for me to learn. I don't know whether we all probably learn that now.
Oh, absolutely.
A little bit now. And I'm a better fisherman because of those kinds of things in my life that have happened. So I relish those things. That was a very long trip. But remembering Ed and Julie at their house with the home that they provided and allowing me to come and visit and wanting me to phone and keep in touch was very important to me and made me feel a part of the family activities and while I was there. Anywho, got any stories, Dave, besides being behind the camera?
Oh, let me tell the rest of the story.
Oh,
What my folks, my dad would talk about.
Yeah.
Mom and dad would talk about it. You were down there,
Yeah.
sitting there one time, and talking about how your health was great. Now you got the perfect body and all that kind of stuff.
They're all in the back hills of Canada. Who, do you think you'd know anybody down there? No. They didn't. That's remarkable.
Hey, they almost went out to all 50 states if they didn't, when they retired. They took that camper on several trips. I don't know if they did all 50, but close to it. How they did it all.
Well, I haven't much to add. I mean,
Come on, tell the Shades Lounge story. The Shades Lounge.
no, you tell.
I remember, I think we were going to the ranch that morning.
It was like an evening. I know it was an
It
evening.
was in the morning that time. Anyway, we at the edge of the patio, there's no fence or anything. You walk out the patio, go to the right, the patio then just drops off. We sat down on the shades and it went right off the edge, but he folded up on it. We all thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Yeah. It's another one of those stories we always like, probably within the last year, we would bring up the hamburger with no meat or the Shades Lounge. You guys always have to bring up that stuff. You're supposed to forget that stuff. But those are the stories that was the funniest.
Yeah, and I know he knows we're telling the story right now. He knows.
It's like, he always had those just funny little things that happen. So always remember. But it's definitely the maps. It's funny, yesterday when we were Google, out in the 2000s, and we're out Google Earthing and Google Maps, looking at all your guys' houses from the street. We started going to Finland and we went to Tapio where our great aunt Leslie lived. And we found the apartment and stuff. And I walked back to the bedroom. It's actually my room, but I don't there anymore. But it's almost the same when I left it 20 years ago. Sitting right there on the top is a map of Finland. So I know my dad sitting around the house at bored or whatever, and he'll just open up a map and pour over it for an hour or two. The things that they're the maps that we got when we were in Finland in 1971, and they're still out. It's like, did you guys keep your map of Finland? Right there. So I know they read almanacs and they're not almanacs. Atlas.
That seems funny because that is the one thing that my dad took with him to the care home, maps and atlases. He was always looking at maps, and I said, Dad, you can take the maps with you. So, and now I've got the map collection.
Well, it's like, when my mom died and stuff, and we got rid of all the stars and HBO and stuff that he never watched. So let's get this cable bill down to something manageable. All he was interested in is History Channel, Discovery Channel, Learning Channel, and that's the only 3 channels he really used, the Baby Food Network. But other than that, he never watched. I think that TV was always on History Channel. So he was always educating himself. I know he didn't go to college or anything, but he's a pretty smart guy.
He played the accordion.
And he played the accordion every Saturday morning. And the dog would howl.
Yes.
Leo Saturday.
Well, I don't know if you call it an accordion, but he goes from down the hallway when he wasn't getting out of that's what going around. He would get the accordion out, sit on the edge of the bed. He just loved doing it. So every weekend morning we were around.
So who plays the accordion now?
I found my French horn yesterday.
Oh, no. You
You don't even have your trombone around, there's no help.
I do have it still.
Do?
Yeah, it still doesn't have a spit valve though.
You learn technology too, because we got a computer. I mean, until maybe a year ago, prior to that, we get emails from him, he'd be sending us all the nice computer jokes and stuff.
Yeah, a lot up here is the information he sent to the USS Salt Lake City website about his what he did when he started and all that. And you might want to go to the website because I think I called them within an hour or two. And I knew that there was a gal that was in charge of that whole thing. And she put the announcements in and we started getting stuff from shipmates and all that. The picture in the middle of the 3, that came from Dylan, I think down Texas or something like that. We got it in the mail. We have a picture of the two shipmates. But we got there and start communicating, and I think we spent a lot of time, going through checking email every 20 minutes, every half hour, just to see if there's some kind of communication. And that's where a lot of the pictures, I catch fish or whatever like that, and I sent it down to Dad and a copy to Eric of the fishing and hunting successes and stuff like
He
that.
printed every single.
And he would take those pictures I'd send him and actually print them on a piece of paper, had a folder, all these pictures all turned on the page. He didn't know that it's like stored in a computer.
He tried.
Yeah, he
The worst thing is to go on there online, and he was on there, and he's like, "Hi Tom," he just messaged. I'm like, "Oh no, it's Dad." Because he said, "Hi Dad, how are you? Can I get this one up?" And then he waited like 20 minutes. So you just see him going, "Damn it." So he didn't type.
You really love the computer. Once it got to, do something with it, that was integral part of his life. It was right there in the kitchen. He had his headquarters there.
I think it's all.
He even chatted with Matt once.
Oh,
Because I would be on the computer, and Matt was on the computer, and it was that, chat.
It was rather funny that your dad would talk about your dogs as if these are his grandchildren are the dogs. And like he would tell me, oh, well, we're just gonna get this dog back to school, because it's misbehaving, it's just, it would just be kind of sweet that, he's kind of like watching them as if, oh, this one's really good, this one's lazy, or, but if one of them's misbehaving and putting their nose up toward the table, like that dog's gotta go back to school.
He had dogs all his life.
He always has
And at
dogs.
Christmas time, we had like 5 running around, the Christmas party with the kids running around, all that kind of stuff. Dad always liked them to run and play dogs.
I saw a picture of Katie, that's a 1935, a picture of his dog. You said his name Billy? Billy was Billy. This is in 1935 right now. So he was like 14 years old. I would have brought my dog, but you guys wouldn't be very excited.
We just like everyone else's house. We see a Christmas
Well, you already
tree,
have a dog.
flying off.
And that's it, my dog.
Oh, yes. It's always been nonstop, though.
Hello, everyone.
Someone's got some Donna Summer music. Anyway, hey, just as we're all hanging out, we're going to be around here for a while. Got no place to go. Still more dessert. If somebody hasn't eaten enough, a couple of ways to eat. So,
Okay, Glenn, all I want is a salad.
We forget.
we'll fix the screen so it's not sitting there in the sun. Okay, it's the horizons.